Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. Real Talk, Real Change.
Yes.
Is real talk, real
Real
truth.
talk.
And I am so excited to have with me today Miss Alfreda Jackson. Thank you so much for taking the time out and for accepting my invitation. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you as well. Thank you.
And just really, just let people know I haven't really known Elfrida for that long. We pretty much became friends off of Facebook, actually.
Yes.
So, but I'm so glad that I had a chance to, even get to know you through Facebook.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
as well as, like I said, you accepted my invite. So I appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself, and then, you share your story, your testimony, what you have for the people.
Okay.
And I'm just going to sit back and enjoy.
Okay. So my name is Alfreda Jackson. I am a twice co-author, I should say, two-time co-author of a book called, and I'll show you, In Pursuit of Fearless Living. And the
Okay.
visionary is Dr. Mary Ann oh my God, Dr. Mary Ann Dana Rivera, and
Mhm.
she's a person as far as visionary. So this is the very first book I co-authored with her,
Okay.
and this is the second book I went into more details with. So I'm very excited about that. I'm a
That's
mother of three children, and unfortunately, I lost my older son Tommy back in 2020 during the pandemic. He's
Oh, okay.
21 years old, and
Oh,
he died with complications they called, that said was like pneumonia, which I equated to it was COVID, basically.
right, right.
And I do have a middle son, Anthony, and I have a daughter, Dazelle. I have five wonderful grandchildren.
Okay.
Been married. I was married for like over 30 some odd years. Still great friends with my ex-husband to this day,
That's good. That's
and family as well. I have a beautiful mother and beautiful father who are still living. Thank God they're in their 80s.
Amen.
In fact, my mom, she's still working. She works part-time, but she's doing excellent. And she's like my role model per se.
Wow. Oh,
Uh,
wow.
Shout out to Miss Julia Lawson. She is definitely my role model. I attended New Bethel when I was a little girl, born and raised there. Now I currently attend New Life Fellowship Ministries, Pastor Bernard McNeil and Lady Tina McNeil on Wellington and Arnett. I love that
Okay.
church.
Yep. Hmm.
Um, Very active in it, very supportive of it, and they're supportive of me as well.
Hmm.
I give
Yeah.
a shout out to the two late pastors who was very instrumental in my life, which is Reverend Grace. He's deceased, and under his fellowship and under his leadership for almost 30, 40 years, almost practically all my life. And
Wow.
Reverend Dr. Weldon G. Thomas, he's deceased at this point in time, and I was under his leadership for almost 15, 20 years. And
Okay.
I was a missionary there for like 13 years. And
Wow.
I also was on the Pastor's Aid Committee. I ushered, I was in the youth choir. I raised my kids. They were in Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, very active in that church. As a matter of fact, they even nominated me to be Mother of the Year back in 2000. So I'm
Okay.
that. I went back to school and obtained my HR degree.
Mhm.
After I raised my children and got them on the way, my daughter was entering college, and that's when I graduated in 2014 from Bryan Stratton College.
Okay.
Went on to go to Roberts. I thought I wanted to do social work, Judy, but then I changed my mind. I was like, no. So I passed on that, but I do love HR, and that's my passion. So
Good.
semi-retired where I work, um, a lot of contract work, or either sometime, I do part-time. So, but I'm, happy to be 62, almost 63, and just enjoy my life right now. I just want to do some more traveling and visiting family and just being a loving and caring, humble servant of God. That's all.
Amen. That's what it's all about. That's what it's. And it's funny you said New Bethel because we actually grew up going to New Bethel.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was like, wow, yeah, I'm on.
Yeah. Yeah. That was been there
Yeah.
all. I say all my life, practically all my life. Yeah, because my grandparents is there. Both sets of my grandparents is there, and we raised. And matter of fact, my grandparents, my maiden name was Green. They used to live on Weld Street, so they used to walk
Okay.
years ago
Yeah.
back.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just came from over there, and they were there. And my stepfather, he's deceased now, but we're just born and raised in New Bethel. Did everything in New Bethel.
Every.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
yes.
So you can go ahead and whatever, however you want to start it as far as
Okay.
what you want to share, because I know you said you had a few things. So
Yeah, so what I wanted to share is the reason why I was asked to do co-author both books, and I went into more details with the other book, is because I was had a lot on my heart as far as, like, going through divorce, death, things of those natures.
right.
When I was getting ready to graduate from Bryan and Stratton College, I thought I wasn't going to do it because I went through my 90 hours of internship at the Hall of Justice, and I thought, okay, well, I had my stepfather was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So he succumbed to that. He passed away, and then right shortly after that, Judy, in the same week, my first cousin, who just received a kidney, which he was waiting for so long, got the kidney, was implanted, everything, and then all of a sudden he developed a blood clot and he passed away in his 40s.
Oh,
So
wow.
I navigated through all of that, and I thought, well, I don't know if I wanted to even finish and try to finish getting my degree, but I pushed myself and kept pushing myself because this is what I always wanted to do. So I eventually, went on and got my degree, and I haven't not looked back since, and I was so glad I did push myself to go and do it because that's what I want to do, and I promised God I want to continue to do and get my degree.
Amen. That's awesome.
Yes, yes. And so ever since then, I just been, hit the ground running, working various places. I worked at the city school district almost over 10 years off and on, there, contract work as well as being an employee.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I worked at the real estate board for like 3 years during the pandemic, and I loved that. But then I was like, okay, God was nudging me to do something else. And so I started to some other things that I want to do, here and there. But HR has always been my passion. I love people, and I'm a people person anyway.
Right.
So, and
Right.
that's every day on Facebook. I always try to make sure I, you know, put something out there positive, like a
Right. Right.
scripture, positive quote, or something of that nature. And it seems to be a lot of people look for it every day. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the reason why I go on and do it every day, because I think it's what we need in this environment we're living
Right.
in.
Right. That's
And
true.
further down the road, after my son passed, that was very devastating to me. It took a toll on me as well as mentally and physically.
Hmm.
But I navigated through that, and that's the reason why I went on and co-authored a book and went into a lot of details and the reason why I wanted to do it.
Okay. Okay.
It helped. It was like a healing mechanism, to put it
Right.
that way. So yeah, yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
And I've been, keep on going and keep on giving God praise, because you can't, um, you can't not stop doing it.
You can't stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
grandkids and other children that look to you,
Right.
their source, and their, be the prayer warrior for them or intercessor for them. So
Right.
I can't give up. I just can't do it. So that's the
Right.
reason I'm going. So even though you get depleted as far as energy wise in your
You do.
body, but
Hmm.
you have to make sure you're lined up and aligned with God, because
That's
that's the only thing that keeps us all going, to be
that
honest.
you're right. That's so true. And we go through so much. And I mean that's a lot. That
Yes.
that you experience. I mean, just
Yeah.
that time, but yet you still push. You still kept
Correct.
going. You know,
Correct.
that's the thing. Especially when we can, you
Mm-hmm.
God shows us or tells us what direction
Correct.
to go in, and
Correct.
lots of people don't want to go in that direction.
No, they
But
don't. They really don't. They really
so
don't. And that's why, I always implore, young people or young women, especially when you're going into interviews, dress for success, have the right attitude, because, that's the first line of getting yourself a foot in the door. And even to show the employer that, I have good work ethics, I am
right.
willing to do the
Mhm.
work, I am qualified. But a lot of times they don't. Um, the first impression is the last impression, put it that way, you
Yeah.
know. And that's the reason why I pride myself in making sure I'm always well put together. I don't care if I'm going to grocery store, shopping, whatever. Put your stuff, because you never know who you're going to encounter, who you're going to, who you might run into.
That's true.
So it's just so important, that you do that and always carry yourself as a professional. And that's what I like to do all the time, is, because when I even talk to people, I've talked to past employers and people I've supervisor spoken to, and they'll even text, either email me or call me and say, hey, what are you doing now? I miss it, because you were always such a bright inspiration, bright, in the company, or you've always was a hard worker, put it that way. And it makes you feel good.
It does. Yeah.
Too, still makes you feel good that they saw something in me
Mm-hmm.
that really helps, help you keep going when you, and your low, it helps you keep going. So
Right. Right. So what? what is some of the things that you actually wrote in the book that pretty much kept you going? You know?
Um, I'm glad you asked that question. Some of the things I wrote in the book, I wrote in there about scriptures that I
Hmm.
read daily. I wrote in there about to write journaling, which I love to do. I do that every day. Prayer, have a good prayer life, and
Yes.
be open-minded and not so negative. Like kind of when you get ready to enter into your workplace, always make sure you always have a smile on your face and never go in and bring all your problems. Even though if you have the darkest moments in your life, don't bring that to work.
And that's so hard to do. And you know,
Hard to do because you got to leave it at the door. Because even when you do, because there's some days you're just not feeling it. Let's be honest, you're not feeling it. But when you go in there and you get started, it's like, okay, I can do this, and then
yeah,
you can pick up whatever the issues or problem, and then it doesn't seem so bad when you get relieved because it's like, okay, that wasn't so as bad as I thought it was going to be. You
yeah,
know, don't try to bring all your problems and cares to to work. I mean, there's times like when I was raising my children, I would say, my one son, middle son Anthony, always had issues and problems with asthma. But back then, that was a time when my parents was my mom, and I was able to take care of the other children while I made sure I go to the hospital with him because he always had to go for breathing treatments.
hmm,
And so you have to make sure that you don't bring all those problems and issues,
right,
to your job, because you
right.
have to work. You need to make an income to pay your bills.
And that, you know what, that's true. Um, but sometimes I think, what about when you don't like the job? You
Yeah.
don't,
Oh, another one.
so that can be, can you be like, oh, here we go again, and you try not to bring that,
Right.
when you go to your workplace. But I,
Correct.
I strongly believe that you have to love your job. You have to
Yeah.
like,
You have to be a people person because
yeah,
I know working in assisted living or working in hospital environment, which is
yeah,
so pace and you see everything under the sun. Working in schools, I've worked in schools. I've dealt with parents. I've dealt with the students. I've dealt with the little ones to the oldest, and it's very draining.
it is.
But you have to always have a smile on your face, just a kind word. Sometimes you listen more than you speak.
Yep,
Then
yep,
they say, "Okay, I've dumped everything out on you." And just like, and then I might respond, "Okay, how can I help?" Even
right.
if I can't do anything for you, I'm going to try to direct you to the person who can help you.
But yeah, I understand. I get that because I worked in assisted living for quite some time.
Yes,
I had
yes,
working, I've been out for a while now, but
right.
whereas you have to have a compassion for what you do, and
Have
for, like you said, and for people.
have to, because you're basically, Judy, dealing with um, the families and
Yep,
dealing with the elders. And the
yep,
elders, these are the elders who people who've had really beautiful, blessed lives,
right,
which is, all of a sudden it's like the mind is not functioning anymore.
right. I
That is,
work,
this is somebody's mom and this is
right,
somebody's dad. I
that
mean, you can't shirk it off. It's a hard thing to do, but you have to have a lot of
you
patience.
do, you do. And I was working with dementia patients,
Yes,
so
yes.
that it was a lot of work and
It's a lot. It's a
draining.
lot of holding hands. It's a lot of, can you keep me in prayer? It's, lost because, you're losing they're losing their mother or father, but also the family is losing everything else.
Right,
You know,
right.
you know, it's very tough. It's a very tough field, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, and like
Somebody,
I said, you have to have compassion no matter
yeah,
what.
a lot of
So, and
compassion.
I'm not going to even sit up here in front because there were days when I was there and it'd be like, uh,
Yes,
and it's not because I didn't like my job, because I did like my job. I did like, taking care of people and dementia
right,
patients, thing. But
right.
it's kind of like you just feel so drained.
Yes, you
I was
do.
like drained.
Because
It's like,
even if I don't work directly with them, it's like I was at the front desk reception area, but it's like you see everything.
yeah,
You
hmm,
see, because when the families walk in, you can see that a lot of family members are burdened down. They don't say it, but you can see it on their face.
right,
So mine's like, oh, I feel better because I saw your smiling face, and it's like, oh, that makes you feel better. So I
that,
can't get there with a humglum face and saying, so and so's coming to see their mom. It's like, and I always say, have a nice visit, or how's it going today? How was your day? Because
right.
you got to deal with it. Even if their loved one or their mother, father, or loved one is in hospice, you still got to say, hey.
too.
It's not over until God says it's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tough thing. It's a very tough thing.
No, it is. It really is. But I thank God because, you know,
Yeah.
I was there for a good little while. But like I said, when things came up, my season was up there. It was just it.
Nothing wrong with that. Trust me, it's
It
nothing wrong.
was, although it wasn't the way I wanted to leave.
Correct.
But because of health issues, I had to.
Right.
That's just how it was.
You had
But
to do it. Yeah.
that not I think I know God does everything for a reason.
He does it for a reason. And that's
So
another thing, too, Judy. Sorry to cut you. I know for a fact that I've gone through like, oh God, why did I get that job? Because I wanted that job. It's like it wasn't for you.
right.
It wasn't for you. And then you look down hindsight, it's like, oh, I see why.
Mm-hmm.
Better than I don't know what because you didn't get the job.
Yeah.
But you see why God said no. Delay
Yeah.
is not denied, but also it's not for you. I have something better.
Right. Right.
Keep open-minded. There is going to be something better. So yeah.
And I always feel like delayed, it's not denied, but I feel and I know that it's just preparation.
Correct. For the next position. Right.
That's
Correct.
it. Just prepare.
Like, I see why. Well, because I've been hit through like layoffs a couple of times, with different job positions I loved. And I'm like, okay, Lord, why? But it's like, okay, settle down because there's always something better.
Always.
Always better because, he's always going to provide.
Always does. He always does.
Just got to listen to him, because a lot of times it's like, even before I leave the house, I always say, okay, God, direct my path or give me the right words to say. Because, Holy Spirit will unction you and tell you,
yes,
you didn't handle it too well.
Yes.
Or you pray, like I told you previously, I'm an empath because my sign is a Cancer, and I'm an empath because I feel everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like to dump on me. So even if I go to a store, grocery store, I don't care where I'm going. It's like they just gravitate towards me and want to start dumping everything. So then I have to say, okay, woosah from that. And then I go home and say, okay, I got to get myself replenished to get myself going.
Yeah.
They're dumping everything on you.
Right.
And it's up not to, I understand you being compassionate, but it's in your mind, you're like, oh my God.
Right.
And then you okay, I'll keep you in prayer, but it's like, but I'm drained.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I'm already drained.
Right. And then you need somebody to pour into you.
Pour into me. I'm pouring everything I can, till I'm almost empty just for them. But it's like, okay, Lord, you got me doing something this for a reason, because that's
right.
Or if I have somebody that's on my mind, I'll say, like one of my cousins or my relatives, whatever, I'll say, I haven't heard from that person in a long time. Let me text or reach out or call. And you're like, oh, I'm so glad you called or text. And like, that was Holy Spirit telling you, you gotta do it. Because you can't sleep until you do it.
You gotta do it.
Yeah.
You gotta be yeah. So listen, I know you did 2 books, right?
Yes.
Now the first book, what was your first one that where you weren't a co-author?
I was a co-author in this one, which is called What is Fearless Living? So it's like a little synopsis of, kind of what she basically asked us to do is write about what do we think fearless living means to us, co-authors. And so this one wasn't as long. So as you can tell, I was in the middle of in the thing here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long, but the book was phenomenal because you can see it's pretty thick, and it was like other co-authors who were in it. But what happened was I met Marianne at a function, which is at the Urban Euphoria, was a place that's not open anymore. But I met her there and was at a workshop, and they were talking about businesses. And so one of my girlfriends invited me, and so she had the book there, and she was selling the book for the other previous co-authors. I said, oh, okay. She says, well, read the book and let me know if you ever be interested in being a co-author. I said, okay. So I took the book home, and I kid you not, I could not put the book down because I took it, and I think I read it that Sunday night. I finished it either that Monday or Tuesday, and I finished it. I said, God, I think this is my calling. I think I want to do this. So she reached out to me and asked me, would you like to do the first one? So I did the first one, and I said, okay. So it went really well, and it sold. And so then the next one, she says, well, what do you think about doing it? I want you to go into more details about your life circumstances. I said, okay. I said, well, I don't know. But then she said, well, think about it, pray about it, and then get back to me. So then I said, okay. So then she says, well, once I did the first manuscript and told her, she says, no, I need more. I need you to pour out more detail.
Right.
And so I did this book, And then this book is called In Pursuit of Fearless Living, Losing Love, Friends, Family, Relationships. So I said, oh, I said, got a whole lot to say about that.
Yeah.
So then that's what I was telling you. I went through the divorce and everything, and I said I could talk about, the loss of my son, what have you. I said, okay, well, let me go into more detail. So then when she gave me what we had to write, and
Mm-hmm.
I sat down, I think that one evening, can't remember when it was, and I just typed and I typed and I typed and I couldn't stop typing, and then all of a sudden the tears started flowing. Everything, it became real.
It became
And
real.
and so she said, well, I said, read it. What do you, and let me know what she thinks. She says, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted you to bring it all because I need you women to explain to other people, other women, what you're going through so they
That
understand and
that's
if they can relate to it.
exactly
And so
exactly.
mine was called Embracing Fearless Living. And so my particular chapter I wrote about, this is my heading of mine. It says, Navigating Loss, My Journey and Healing and Hope. So this is a chapter I wrote here. It's like this part here, and then it goes on to like 2 or 3 more pages, and then the end I tell them about. Um, it says embracing vulnerability, and I was talking about all my scriptures that I read daily, and Dare to Dream, and creating a vision board, which I love, and
Mm-hmm.
all the scriptures that I read every day. So I went into a lot more detail in this book, and I was very proud of this one because I poured a lot into it. So, and it's on Amazon. Both books are on Amazon. So, but Marianne, she's an excellent visionary, and she will pour into you and pull out everything you thought you didn't have.
Right. Now, how long has it been since you've been divorced?
Oh, about good 15, 20 almost years.
Okay, okay. And you said, I know when we talked before, you were saying that you guys are still you good with each other.
Friends, yeah, good
And
friends because they're grandkids. You know what I mean?
because and I think that's something that you can share as well because a lot of people they just don't
Yeah, they don't.
they
Yeah,
don't yeah after that's it. But I
yeah,
think that you still have a relationship,
yes.
friendship, and because I hear a lot of women say that they're closer now than they were before.
Because it is so funny that I like I told you when his mom passed in 2015. I think it was when she was going through her last battle in the hospital. His sister, matter of fact, I went up there and she's like, when they get ready to go in and talk to the doctor, and she says, well, no, sis, I want you to come here and talk. I said, because you're still family too. And I thought that was
Hmm.
a lot of respect because I watched his sisters actually grow up. So, and they still call me sister, what have you. And then his nieces and nephews still call me auntie and all that other stuff. And it's just been a beautiful thing because
That's
I want my grandkids to see us like that, because you have to be around these. Like even my granddaughter, she cheered. We were both there. And it's very important to let your grandkids see that my grandkids call me grandma and they call him papa. That papa and grandma get along. Put it that way.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he was there for like when my stepfather passed, and one of my first cousins, she passed, so he was there for that service as well.
Hmm.
And from on there, I lost like what my other first cousin. No, my stepsister. I lost her. She's in her 40s. She was a school teacher, and my
Hmm.
first cousin was a school teacher, and both of them succumbed to like brain aneurysm. So
Oh,
stress, hypertension, all that stuff. It was very, very devastating. So yeah.
so that really had you were you able to write when you wrote the book?
Yes. Yeah, I was able to write because I was like, I think when I wrote the book, I was just finishing up going through the tail end of COVID. Um,
Okay. Okay.
towards, everything was clear. You could, get her out and about and what have you. And then it was like, okay, it was time because everything is still real.
Right, right.
So yeah, yeah. And then a lot of times family members was, still reaching out. Like it was funny. You guys said, Judy, one of my first cousins, she asked me when her mother passed, and she says, well, I want you to read my mom's obituary. And I think, oh, she asked me that. But I was thinking, at that time, I said, okay, well, I'll do it. At first, I was like, yeah, but then I didn't want to. But I said, you know what? If she asked me, I got to do it. And now to this day, we're still close. I mean, we've been closer now because she moved. But every day I text her. Every morning I text her. Every morning.
Yeah.
Every, you know what I mean? So yeah. So I'm just very grateful and thankful for all of my family members. I really
That's
am.
awesome. So
And
what
a
was
lot of time, my cousins was my father's side will tell me, "Oh my God, you look just like grandma," because my grandmother had a mole here, and I inherited that same mole she had on her same spot. They was like, "Oh my God, you look just like grandma." Every time we look at you, but I get that all the time. They tell me that all the time. Yeah.
Wow. So what would you tell someone or ladies that may be going through like the divorce or what have you, and but want to try to still, have not a connection, but especially if kids are involved too, but to
Yes.
be able to co-parent and still be able to get along because, and truth be told, that's not going to happen with everybody.
No,
Everybody's story is different.
it's
You know,
way. Yeah, it's tough because I think what drew us closer is because after I got that phone call that my older son had passed, I think going
oh,
through that,
mm-hmm.
previous to that, leading up to that, um, it was one of those like somewhere along the line you got to say, okay, we got to squash all this foolishness, all this, bickering,
Right,
and kind of come to some kind of happy medium because somewhere down the line you're going to encounter somebody or you encounter him or he's going to encounter you. You can't do that.
right.
To have two other children. So it got to that point, but it was after my son passed. It was when I think we got more closer because both of us experienced huge loss, both of us,
Right, yeah.
mom especially, and then with my older son. So it was very devastating for both of us. Yeah, extremely devastating. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, because that
Yeah.
that COVID that was terrible.
Yeah, it was something I'll never forget. And he was like the sweetest, kindest young man you can ever meet. In your life, and it's I'm not embarrassed about it because I adopted three kids. I wasn't able to have children, but I really raised those kids if came out of my own womb.
Exactly, exactly.
It devastated the heck out of me, man. It took a lot out of you. When I say you experience the 7 stages, you do some, but
Yeah,
back and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. But it's
yeah,
it's a tough a death of either a parent or a child is the most devastating ever.
yeah.
Not
I
even one
period.
period, but
Yeah.
period. It's devastating. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That is for sure. That thank God I haven't experienced any of that, but
Yeah.
even
It's tough.
friends that I know, it's just
Yeah.
like, wait, what?
It's very tough. It's like, because I try to go like on his birthday to the grave or Mother's Day or something like that, but it's like still doesn't seem real.
Right, right,
But yeah. Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Wow.
ma'am.
Well, that's awesome though with your books and stuff. So, do you think you might want to write one on your own? Have you ever thought about writing your own book or?
I thought about it, but I said to myself, I have to think about and pray about how I want to start it off, put it that
Right,
way.
right,
I would have to be a compilation of, you know, everything I've done from beginning to the end, maybe
right,
as
right.
a experience. And now as, being older, a seasoned senior, I call myself now. So I would say I would probably, but it won't be a big book. It'll be like a small, something,
Right. Mhm.
nothing, but something like on the sides, like how you did your first book, something
Mhm.
like, I don't want anything big because I don't want to just be redundant saying stuff. It doesn't make
Oh,
sense.
right, right.
Make sure it's going to be something that people can read and relate to it.
Right, right. And that's important too because I
Yeah.
feel when I wrote my book, it wasn't a huge book.
Right. Exactly.
It wasn't many chapters, a whole bunch of chapters, but it was straight to the point.
It's great, and I enjoyed it. That's why I told you when my god sister gave me that book. I was like, oh my god, Judy put her heart in this book because you talked about divorce and everything. I was like, I could totally relate to that book. I
And
really totally relate to it.
and the thing about it is that just I'm the type of person I like easy reading. I don't want to sit there and read a whole bunch of chapters to get to.
Yes,
I just
yes,
don't.
I
So
know.
and
No,
for me when I wrote that, I was just like boom, boom, boom. I'm just straight to the point.
straight into the point.
My story, and like I tell people,
Right,
with my book,
right.
I condone divorce whatsoever. I'm not saying for people to get a divorce because that's not what my book is all about. my book was about me sharing what I went through.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And
Correct.
then what I went through, so the next person might not go through what, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. And it's so funny you say that. I listen to a lot of podcasts. If you start off with the first couple of things that I can relate to, I'm there. I
Right.
zone. But if you
Exactly.
say something that I can't relate to, I kind of bypass it and move on to something else because I need you to keep my attention the whole entire time. That's me. When I would take a class at school or college, I'm like, if the instructor start off with something that I can relate to, I'm like always in the front. I stay focused because they say, you're always so engaged in your lesson. I said, because you've already captured my attention. So I want to know more. I'm trying to
Right.
get you got so I can learn for myself. So
Right.
I've always a hardworking student because I would stay there. Sometimes I ask my instructors questions afterwards, and I was even a student ambassador. Brian is trying in college too, and I was always zoned in. Just always asking questions. I always wanted to know more, and how can I pour into my papers and things you had to write. And sometimes they say, well, you have to write 18-page paper. I'm like, where in the world am I going to write 18-page paper?
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
so then, but once you start doing
Right.
research,
Yeah.
subject I liked, I was able to relate to it. And so I think with adult learner, it's better because I know when I was going to college back when you're younger, you're not paying attention to
Yeah.
half, and you can't
Right.
even
Right.
write about something that you haven't experienced. But when you get older and have a lot of things under your belt and experience and jobs and what have you, you can pour into everything because you've already experienced it. And you can pour into the paper. And that's how I found myself. I was glad I went back as an adult learner as opposed to young out of high school.
Right.
Something
Right.
to talk about.
Right.
So
Yo,
glad.
that's true. Because
Yeah.
when you're younger, I mean, you're
You know
going.
what else to talk about? I mean, absolutely nothing to talk about. So, and a little bit here and there, but when you are an adult learner and they can say, well, can you expound or can you write about, living or financial difficulties or just anything
Mm.
economic? Like, yeah, sure I can, because I can tell
Right.
you through da 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 da. So you
Right.
can, you can pour into that. But getting, as an adult learner, you definitely can write a lot about all that.
Right. Right. So are you right now, are you like in HR?
Yes, I do work in HR.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. So you okay. Okay.
Love HR. I really do. And I've seen it all, Judy. I've seen it all.
Wow. Sure. I'm sure.
Oh my God. I can't even tell you the stuff and the stories I've seen of the people. And it's just the turnovers and you know, everything. Just put it,
Yeah.
because it's, with HR, you can't disclose a lot, but it's a lot.
Exactly. Exactly.
A lot.
Exactly.
A lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
If I
Wow.
had not, I have not taken, courses in that or haven't experienced it, I would be on the outside looking like, oh, they don't do that. But then you see that and you experience and you've seen it, you're like, yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do that. So yeah, it's tough. It's very tough. It's a tough field because HR is basically the hub or the background of any organization.
That's
You're
right. Oh,
dealing with folks all the time. You're dealing with situations. You're dealing with everything under the sun.
yes. So something come
It's
up.
brand new. It's nothing is brand new when people say something. You're like, yeah, but I know this already. I know this can't be true.
Right.
But you got to
Right.
prove it. And there's always have to have supporting documentation. You got to make sure, you dot every I, cross every T when it comes to that because you want to prevent lawsuits because everybody wants to sue, sue, sue. But if
Yes.
proper documentation, you can avoid all that. You
Yeah.
can truly,
Want to sue? You right about that. They
everybody wants to sue
quick to sue.
under the sun, but you got to have that supporting documentation and make sure you dot every I, cross every T, and make sure you got a good timeline.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because they're going to tell you any old thing, or they're going to forget they told you that, but it is what it is because you got your documentation. You can
Right.
go to anybody's court and say, "Hey, no, I have all my documentation." They're going to say, "Okay, throw the case out the door." But if you don't have that, you can't win. You definitely can't.
Done deal, huh?
Yeah,
Wow. Wow. That's crazy.
it is. It's a rewarding feel when you can see your employers and employees are succeeding, and it's also a little bit daunting when you see a lot of turnovers or things or people being fired or let go and layoffs. It's very sad. It's
Yeah. It is, and especially in the times that we're, I mean, period, but
Yeah.
the times that we're in now, and one thing about it, because I do my live videos every day. Well, not live, but I do my videos and stuff like that. But one thing about it, and I let people know, if you don't have a relationship with the Lord, you need
Yeah.
to,
You
because
have to,
the times that we're in now, it's
yeah.
just you need them.
You have to be prayed up. I say prayed up before you walk out that door.
You have to.
Have to be prayed up before you walk out that door because you don't know what you're going to encounter. You don't know it. You can go one way and come back. It's like, wow, what really happened today?
What happened
I
today?
don't believe that happened, but it did happen.
And
So
like you said, people, people are losing their jobs, and then when they lose their jobs, it's like panic mode.
yeah, they're the mind snaps.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I get it, but I thank God that
Yeah,
I have that relationship, and I know, you know,
right.
although now don't get me wrong, now I don't worry about it, but I might be concerned at some time,
Correct.
but I
Correct.
back and worry because I know God said He's gonna supply my needs.
Correct.
His riches and glory in Christ Jesus. So I know that, but
Right.
everybody don't know the Lord like that.
Now, and it's another thing that kind of makes me a little upset about is when I see young people when they come for a job interview, they're not dressed properly because they're not told what to wear.
Yeah, they don't even do that no more.
You know, it's like
Yeah,
you if you're gonna impress this person, because so many people are going out trying to get the same position you're going in, and they're gonna put on any old thing. You can't do that.
right.
You're going up against 5 or 6 or 10 or 15, 20 people want the same position. So you must show your very best. Like some of the young girls, the low cuts, this and that, the proper footwear, the proper headwear. They don't care. They
Yeah,
don't care what they put on
yeah.
nowadays.
But like you said,
I get it because you're trying to be Afrocentric or whatever, but kind of put everything neatly together before you go for the interview.
they haven't been taught. They weren't
Yeah,
taught.
and how what words to say, and making sure you have the proper conversations with the person who's interviewing you, responding to the actual questions properly. There's
Exactly.
a whole lot of difference. They can tell if you've been experienced in doing that.
Oh yeah,
And bring 3 questions with you. When they say you have any questions, yes, I do. Matter of fact, if you have to write them down, type them down, write them down. Ask 3 questions so they'll know you're interested in the position. It's so important, and they forget that part. You must
yeah.
ask 3 questions when they're interviewing you.
See, that's good because a lot of people don't. I mean, I do. Of course, I
Right. Of
for and
right.
I still would ask questions.
You must. If
Because
I'm
they
a
ask
job
you.
interview
Don't.
tomorrow, I still bring 3 questions with me. You still must bring 3 questions, even if you know how to answer the questions, but still bring 3 questions so you can understand or do research on the job, the organization you might be working with, because you don't know anything about the company. They
Exactly.
called you and said they're going to do an interview on Zoom or over the phone or whatever, but make sure you're prepared. And phone numbers, make sure you have, I've done reference check where the phone numbers are bad, or you call the person, they don't know that you're going to be calling, and it's
Yeah.
sad. It's very sad.
Good though. That's good. The information that you're giving because a lot of people, especially young people, and I don't know if young people will watch this, but
Yeah,
ever, whether you're young or older, and you're looking for a job, it's
right.
still the information that you're giving is important.
It's
It,
very
it's important. It's important.
young,
And
young men and older men.
I want to ask you a question because I feel like when you're older and
Yes,
looking for work, I feel like it's harder. I feel
yes,
harder
yeah,
because here's the thing. I still believe and I know that regardless of what they may say, or I still believe that God will open up a door for you no matter what. But at
correct.
the same time, I think that when those people look at your resumes or your age, it's kind of
Correct.
like, 'cause I'll be 60, right?
Yeah,
And it's kind of like, I feel like
yeah,
they'll just overlook mine or something.
correct. That's so true. And there's a lot of times too, Judy, they tend to if you have too much experience.
Hmm.
And sometimes lacking experience, if you have experience, put down with your experience, and try to make sure you um, emphasize the different things. It's
Mhm.
make your resume stand out better than somebody else's.
Right,
When
right,
you call, you act like you're interested in position, even if you don't get it, because you never know. And your
right,
work ethic carries you a long way, because a lot of times companies will hire you as a contract worker and then hire you from there.
right.
Becoming a full-time employee. So don't ever be shy of not working as a contract worker or a temp, because it can lead to
Permanent.
possibly getting hired permanently, because they know you got work ethic, you're on time, you do the job, you're respectful. That's what they look for.
Right,
Like when you leave that position or you leave that assignment, they're like, oh yeah, Alfreda, by the way, I know her. Yeah, she does da da da. Or Judy, yeah, I know her. Da da da. And then word spreads, and then
right, right,
because I've gotten that so many times. I got recommended, not even applying for it. It's
right,
by somebody else, word of mouth, or somebody else knew what I've done in the past or whatever.
right,
But
right.
very late. I don't care if it's 20 or 30 years ago. People still remember you.
You still remember, right?
Yeah,
And
because yeah,
I see that there is a lot of just, me looking around now, that there is a lot where people are doing contract
yes, because no, right now
first.
they would rather do that because they want to save on benefits.
Yeah,
Benefits is the most costly thing in any organization, because they have to pay out so much money to keep that employee. And so this is the reason why I said, you must don't shy away from doing contract or temporary work, because it can lead to full-time employment. It really, really can.
right, right,
Happen 1,000 times. And people, oh, I don't want that because it's only 10. You don't know. They can only tell you what, say, well, I'm going to contract it for a couple weeks or a couple months, whatever, until the assignment's on, or until everything's pretty much done. But then you don't know. They may call you back and say,
right.
a best friend or a girlfriend of mine, or gentleman friend of mine has a company, or they're looking for temporary work, and then that means say, well, I really need somebody to work here permanent. There you have it. Your foot is already in that door. It's
Yeah,
halfway door, but it's going to be more because you're in the door.
right. You're right. Yeah, yeah. That's
Don't
good.
shy away from it at all. I am a firm believer of that. Don't ever overlook it as far as a temp, because you're doing as much work as anybody else.
Everybody else, right? Exactly. That's good. That's good information. That is good information.
You're doing sometimes you're doing because they put all the stuff that they don't want to do on the temp, but the temp gets the job done.
Right. They're gonna get it done. Right. Exactly. That's so.
Yeah, so that's my little tidbit as far as working HR or any organization, because that's what they look at. Are you on time? Being on time, doing the job. Not afraid to get on more tasks. If they ask you to do a little bit more, you do a little bit more. If you can't do it, tell them you can't do it. Or and
Right.
I do a little bit of this, or it's all sorts of things you can do.
Right.
Have a
Right.
good attitude, but don't come with that bad attitude. That's
When you,
the word.
he's like, nah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
No, that's good. That's good information. I'm glad that you talked about that, because like I said, a lot of people, you know, don't know.
No, they don't. They
You know,
really
don't really know, as far as HR, and
right,
you
right,
about it, and you Google it, they Google all
right.
stuff, but to actually hear from somebody that knows,
Yes,
that's
absolutely. And know your worth. Know your worth. The job says it's playing A, B, C amount. If you know you got the experience and you have the degree or what have you, you ask for a little bit more, but you say, well, I'm willing to negotiate. I'm willing to, you know,
absolutely
off here, because you want to start off small until you can build yourself up and
right,
prove that you're worth what they're going to,
right,
give you. You know what I mean? They
that,
can see if you got a lot of experience, they can't pay you no less than whatever.
right, right,
Because
right.
experience, and they'll know that you know what you're doing, what you're talking about. So yeah.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, I
When I was, working retail, I would just say, oh yeah, take it, because I was in the time I wanted to make extra money just to
well,
keep.
yeah,
But
right.
that's you were young, you didn't know any
Yeah,
better,
exactly. You thought that was good,
right?
and it was at the time.
Yeah,
It was.
exactly, right.
It
Yeah, I
was.
know now.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I
So,
know, but
but
so yeah.
no, that's good. That's good. So, is
Yeah.
there anything else that you want to share, or I mean, because what you told us so far is awesome. I mean, that's good information, and with
I
the.
would say I listen to a lot of podcasts, like on dating, marriage, church, and
Mhm.
I sometimes watch them on YouTube. It's just been very inspirational, because in this time and age that we're living it's like you feeding off somebody else's experience, and you say, "Oh, I can relate to that. I don't understand what that person's going through," but you never know what that person had to do to get to that.
You don't know my story.
Don't know, step by steps, the grit and the grind they had to get to that point A, B, or C. And all you're seeing is from the outside. Oh my God, they're making all this money. It's like, yeah, but you didn't realize the sleepless nights. You didn't realize the hard work. You didn't realize the dedication, and
Yeah.
paying Peter to pay Paul, and you pulling this and that. You don't see all that. You only
Right.
see one thing, but
Right.
you don't see it all. So yeah.
Yeah,
It,
that's so true. And I
yes.
feel like a lot of people can learn
Yeah.
being from, you know, your story or my story. That's why
Yes.
started, well, I'm gonna continue on my
Yeah.
set.
Please do. Please do.
But because I feel like now it's totally different for me now. It's
Yeah.
totally different for me now. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I feel like I was saying, like I told you before, I'm going to be relaunching my book again.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it wasn't time then, but I feel like it's time now.
Yes. Definitely.
They're
Yeah.
ready for it now than it was then.
Correct. Correct.
And I'm gonna relaunch it real soon, and I'm gonna actually do some more things
Yeah.
live. So, you
Yeah.
know, I just feel like, like I said, I'm not condoning divorce, never have, never
No,
will,
neither have I. Nope. Neither have
but I'm
I.
sharing what I went through and
Correct.
you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, we all got a story.
Right.
Everybody.
Now, I'm glad you launched this um, podcast, Judy, because all of us women, we come in different shapes, sizes, colors, what have you, and different backgrounds, but we all, in the end, are women.
That's it.
We've gone through everything. As you can,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about to everything. Going
Every
kids, menopause, which is another whole nother. You can write a chapter
yeah,
by itself.
right, exactly, exactly,
And so those type of things, and how it affects you older. You
right,
don't know what
right.
you're going through until you do hit that menopause, brain fog, the hot flashes, the bloatedness, eating, just everything.
All of yeah, yeah,
Women go through everything that you can think of.
yeah.
And and then you're like, everybody dumps everything on you. Your family members everything on you because, we're nurtured.
Right, exactly,
And
exactly.
that's so, but then who's going to pour into us? If we don't pour into ourselves, who's going to pour into us? If we don't have each other to lean on, it's like there's no time to be jealous of each other.
Exactly.
We have to
Thank
come together and
you so
say,
much.
we need you, or I need you to pray for me. I'll pray for you, or I need you to help me with anything.
Anything.
Can you give me advice on doing this, or can you give me information on how I can go about doing something, or going into, I might be opening a business or whatever, but don't be jealous of that person. There's nothing to be jealous of.
It's terrible. That's a terrible thing to
Yeah,
have because I mean, and that was, and that was one of the reasons why the Lord placed it on my heart to do this because
right,
I know we all have a story.
right.
And I had men on here too, both. And you know what I'm saying? It's time out for all of that jealousy.
Being jealous. Yeah, being jealous.
If you have a story, if you have a testimony to share of what God did,
Yes,
you need to share it. You need to
you
let
need to share it. Yes,
you may never know who's going through the same exact thing that
absolutely,
you
absolutely.
never know.
Right.
That's why I do this because I know that there's people and then I follow people. I follow
Yeah,
people
me too. Me too.
and
Yeah.
I kind of, I don't like examine them, but I kind of follow them and see, and you
Right.
know,
Right. And that's why, like our church at New Life, my first lady, pastor, co-pastor lady Tina McNeil, she has a group called She, and she could be anything.
hmm
She always pours into us women, like by having those workshops or those mini little Bible study gatherings to do at church, and she tells us about women, how do we get through the tumultuous times in our lives, and
right,
women's getting together, praying for each other in a circle and taking each other's name or taking, exchanging each other's phone number or emails or whatever. Or we do a thing like we write our name tags and our name, and then we pass it to each other. And she said, you take that home and pray for that woman for 30 days. This is
Wow. That's
about, because now you know that you're connected to your sister at the church, because you may not know the person, that you know their face, but you know their name, but you get to know. I got to know a lot of things. I
right.
kept going because now I have a better connection with the women. I didn't know all the stuff that they were going through at that time, but you got to know them and listen to their testimonies. Like, okay, I see why on Sunday why you're screaming and praising God, because you don't been through some stuff.
Been through, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? You can relate.
Yeah, when you can relate, and I definitely relate. I mean, I can relate.
Yes.
That's why I do what I do.
Right. So that's why I said, whatever you can get that word out, I do it every day. I try every day not to forget to post something positive. Book page to encourage women, anybody. It doesn't even have to be women, because a lot of men that say thanks for sharing.
Right.
Get the way, but it did.
Exactly.
But you never know how it's going to impact someone, because they needed that, just on the brink of doing something that you don't even know, God knows what, or going through that time, a loss or whatever. And just by saying that, keep going and keep praying, or, we know the struggle is real, but we're praying for you.
That's it. Yeah.
Keep going.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I thank you so much for
you're welcome anytime.
Taking your time out, because I know you're busy.
Yeah. I'm slowing down, Judy. This summer I'm going to slow down, but slow down and smell roses this summer. We'll take a vacation and slow down.
I really appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time,
thank you.
And come on here and just share with everyone. Because like I said, it's needed.
It is.
And I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I look forward to having you coming back again.
Yes, anytime. And they could say, keep nudging you, get that book.
I'm gonna get it. I am working. Believe me, I'm working on it, because after you on Sunday.
Yes.
I was just like, oh girl, because I got a little emotional there. So
I know that was needed, because that's what the Lord wants you to do. He wants you to get that book out again. So I told you, bless me when I read it. I blessed my soul. It did.
That's God right there, and I'm just thankful, because, like I said, the conversation I had with you, and like, okay, I don't know confirmations I don't got so far from it, but
good.
After you, that was like, okay, Lord, that's it. Okay, but I'm gonna do it,
because He's only going to put it on certain people's heart, because that's another thing I want to do before we close is be careful who you share your stuff with. Your dreams, or even be careful of who, because some people can tell you, well, I see that. It's like, yeah, but the Lord ain't telling me that. And if He tells me that, then I'm going to believe it. But if He's already told me something, and He tells you, He speaks to me, it makes it more clear.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to do.
You can't tell.
I'm very leery about people, because I'm like, yeah, that's why I told you I'm an empath. I don't be around a lot of foolishness and drama.
Yeah.
At all. No.
You cannot tell. You cannot.
All your business. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Everybody's not for you. Everybody's not for you.
Nope, you can love them from a distance, but you definitely don't need to be having the drama. I don't do it.
Exactly. Absolutely. You're so right there.
Yes, ma'am.
So true. But again, I thank you so much.
Thank you.
Time. And we will definitely be in contact, because I'll see you on here anyway. So we'll definitely stay in contact.
Yes.
You're the first person to know when I'm finished.
Call me and let me know. Yes, it's done. So I can say,
no, this girl is done. I'm finished.
Yes. So all right, you have a blessed rest of the week, and thank you so much again.
Thank you, hon. You have a blessed evening. I love you.
I love you too.